The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series, so don't be naughty. Ho ho ho!
Ooh. Remind me to have the Kleenex. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Ornament Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Beast Morphers 2.0 episode review. Last week, Beast Morphers entered its endgame with a pretty good episode focused on mistaken identity and suspicion. It ended with the Rangers' greatest enemy, Evox, trapped within Grid Battle Force, but the Rangers knowing that that was his plan all along. Let's see what we find out about him and his plan by taking a look at the 19th episode of Beast Morphers 2.0, Source Code.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can see all of our videos.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon so you get notified of whenever we post any brand new videos.
Right you.
What he said was that if you'd like to support the channel in any way financially, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos.
Right you.
The episode begins with a previously on segment reminding any viewers who might have missed the previous episode about Robo Blaze pretending to be Human Blaze, giving the Rangers the idea of trapping Evox in the base, and that actually happening. Commander Shaw goes to Nate to get an update on the situation, saying they are out of time.
Excuse me, what?
I'm not really sure what's changed in the situation to mean that they're suddenly out of time, and to be honest, the episode never really explains this either. Nate tells Commander Shaw that he's modified the Ultra Blaster to fire data packets. Since Evox is a virus, this will mess up his programming byte by byte until Evox is destroyed. She asks him how confident he is in this, and he guarantees her that it cannot fail.
I'm hesitant.
Next up, we come upon the scene that Nickelodeon tweeted out as the preview for this episode, and if you can't tell if I'm mentioning that, we are going to be talking about the marketing of this episode a little bit later on. This is actually a fascinating scene on its own right, as the Rangers enter Evox's holding cell and hold what is essentially a firing squad execution. It raises some very interesting questions that the episode doesn't actually address. Is Evox a sentient being? Does he have the right to stand trial for his crimes? Is Grid Battle Force dispensing summary justice without any sort of oversight?
Who knows? Not me. Who cares? Ditto mark.
After 2 shots, Evox releases a small wire from his foot, unseen by the Rangers, that travels along some grooves in the floor and connects to the computer controlling the force field. Evox raises the force wall, deflecting the 3rd shot. After he brags to the Rangers that this was his plan all along, he travels along the wire in data form and escapes the cell, infecting the computer. The Rangers destroy that computer, but Evox escapes up some wiring into the ceiling. Nate realizes that Evox will be looking for a computer with direct access to the morphing grid, and the Rangers head out to destroy them. First, Evox heads to the main control room, exiting the computers in kind of a half-visible, almost ghost form. They say that he's damaged, and he begins drawing what he calls access codes out of the computer terminals. The Rangers catch up and hit Evox with another shot and destroy 3 of the 4 computers in the room, but of course he's able to flee into the 4th. Since he's damaged, he's apparently bleeding data packets or something. They just say that because he's damaged, they can track him, and they see he's heading to the research room. They catch up with him there and hit him with another shot, but he flees into one of the computers.
Help computer.
I don't know much about computers. My mom put a couple games on there and I played.
The Rangers wonder where Evox would possibly head next. Nate, you said that only so many of the computers in the base are connected to the morphing grid. Wait a second. Why are any of the computers in the base directly connected to the morphing grid? And isn't this place powered by MorphX? So isn't anything connected to power directly connected to the morphing grid? Anyway, Commander Shaw calls and says that they're getting a signal from the Ranger Vault. Evox is in Nate's lab. Evox walks out of the vault with a familiar large silver case, opening it to reveal the Morphers of Power Rangers RPM. He pulls out one of the cell-shift Morphers and starts drawing some kind of data from it. The Rangers see this, confused, but confront Evox and fire once again. But now Evox has been made whole and is able to stop the blast just with his hand. Evox has repaired himself with something that was left lingering in a cell-shift Morpher.
Excuse me, the f did you just say?
Evox asks Nate if he gets it yet. Trust me, we all get it by this point, but Nate is still confused. Evox tells Nate about the time that Nate was just a young Grid Battle Force scientist, just a little kid to be honest, experimenting with old morphers trying to find new ways to morph. Nothing was working until he put a drop of MorphX and a drop of snake DNA into a cell-shift morpher. To be perfectly honest, I'm not really sure why the snake DNA was necessary, besides the obvious reason, of course. Nate thought it was just another failure, but for Evox, it was new life. And now, heroes, we have reached the moment. The biggest plot reveal in Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Some people have known about this for a long time. Some people just found out today. Yes, by the way, I am filming this on Saturday. Some people are about to find out right now watching this video. That's right, heroes. Evox is Venjix. And now I need to put a little pause on the plot and go on a little rant. Do you remember how I earlier mentioned Nickelodeon's tweeted out episode preview for this? Believe it or not, this scene was the official Power Rangers Twitter account's preview of this episode. It's just fascinating to me because it showcases two different mindsets of advertising. And while you can't really say this about opinions in general, I still feel like I can say it is the right way and the wrong way. The wrong way. Nickelodeon picked the most suspenseful scene, the most powerful scene, the firing squad execution and Evox's escape. Power Rangers, on the other hand, picked the most dramatic scene, the one with the most impact from the episode. But if you think that I got upset because the Power Rangers Twitter once spoiled that some girl was actually the monster of the day, why would you spoil your entire season's plot twist in a tweet?
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I owe my soul sister Ranger Liz a huge, huge thanks. I woke up yesterday to a warning from her that this had been tweeted out and to not watch the scene under any circumstances. And it made the episode that much better because I got to see this reveal seated within its proper context. I already knew the spoiler. I've known that Evox is Venjix for probably a couple of months now. But this made me able to see how Evox is Venjix, complete within the context of the episode. I have seen this decision defended by some people. Toku Chris, for example, said that nobody that was going to watch this episode would decide not to because this was revealed on Twitter, and indeed, more people might tune in to see the potatoes of how around the meat of the major reveal. I certainly respect his opinion, and I can see where he's coming from, but I just can't bring myself to agree. If you're going to market the episode by spoiling its major plot twist, then even having the plot twist feels very M. Night Shyamalanian, just having a twist just to have one. Moving right along. Funny enough, Evox says that he was Venjix, so I guess he is now Evox. This is Goldar all over again. They do a chilling double voice reveal for this. Both the snake voice of Evox and the properly booming voice of Venjix together. We get a little reminder from some RPM footage about who Venjix was, and confirmation that he did indeed escape into Scott's Morpher before being destroyed. Since the day that Nate accidentally revived him, he's been waiting in Grid Battle Force's computers for the activation of the MorphX towers, so he can take over the morphing grid. And this is actually a little stumble. In the RPM dimension, the morphing grid is not called the morphing grid, it is called the biofield. Why would I quibble over a little difference in terminology like that? Because Venjix is a virus. He is literally information. Everything he knows was either programmed into him by his creator, Dr. K, or he downloaded. Now, yes, of course, he could have downloaded from Grid Battle Force's computers that in this dimension it's called the morphing grid, but I still feel like he'd be more apt to call it the biofield.
Get on with it!
I wonder if Cheetah Beast Blasters work on annoying, interrupting deities. So, reviewer technicality here. From this point forward, Evox drops the gravelly snake voice, speaking with his properly booming Venjix voice, kind of implying that Evox the whole time was some kind of impersonation, and this is truly who Venjix is. Thusly, from now on, I am going to refer to him as Venjix, even if some other characters still call him Evox. So, Venjix says that his day of victory is at hand, blasting the Rangers back. And that was the cold open. 7 minutes of fantastic drama and then a jaw-dropping reveal. I'm a little bit dizzy. Anyway, Venjix just walks off into the base, leaving the Rangers staggered. Devin asks Nate if it's possible that this is all true, and Nate says he was just a kid. But yes, it does seem to be true. The Rangers refocus, with Zoe especially telling Nate that they need his help right now, and they give chase. Literally, as I had the thought, you see, it's a plot-heavy, super dramatic episode, so of course, we're not going to see Ben and Betty. We see Ben and Betty. But don't worry, it's actually not bad. The two of them bravely stand up to Venjix, who just laughs at them. The Rangers catch up, and yeah, Venjix just tied them up and moved on. Bravery, a little, yeah, they never really stood a chance, giggle, and we move on. Jax calls to tell the Rangers that they've detected Venjix on a lower level, so the Rangers morph to go catch up. They catch up with Venjix in the tunnel of a parking garage or something. Using the full power of the Venjix virus, I thought he was the full Venjix virus, Venjix creates 4 Robotrons and the battle begins. Devin stabs Venjix with his saber, but Venjix says he now has the data on all of their weapons, absorbing the saber and blasting Devin away.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Venjix mocks Nate for freeing him, blasting him specifically and demorphing him. He tells Nate that he's going to go down in history.
You'll go down in history.
Nate is aghast, saying he can't believe what he's done. And I both like and dislike this. It's a realistic level of absolute shock and emotion at being the direct cause of something like this. But on the other hand, Nate is a scientist and should really understand that all of this was caused by an accident, one that he had no way of predicting. In the lab, Zoe goes to see Nate, who is just holding a cell shift morpher and just really still in shock. She tries to make him feel better, but he's just still upset that Mr. Boy Genius is responsible for everything that they've been dealing with. She assures him that they can beat Venjix, but Nate says that they haven't dealt with anything like this. I was just about to raise a stink about this, seeing as they've been dealing with something like this for 2 years now. However, Nate does explain. Evox was just fragments of Venjix. Now, Venjix has been made whole again and is on an entirely different level. Zoe keeps trying to make him feel better, but he eventually snaps at her that she has no idea what he's feeling right now. Then he realizes what he's done and just begs her to leave him alone.
How could this happen to me?
Zoe returns to Commander Shaw, reporting that Nate has been paralyzed by indecision and is not working on any possible solutions. Devin volunteers to go talk to him next, but Zoe says that Nate needs to talk to someone who knows exactly what he's going through. And there's really only one person who knows exactly what it feels like to release a deadly computer virus on the world.
Who are
Yeah!
And indeed, as Nate hears Venjix's mocking laugh coming from the cell-shift morpher, a transportal opens, and out steps Dr. K. Nate remembers her from Ranger history class, as opposed to Devin having spoken to her. Of course, Dr. K knows precisely where in the textbook she is, and hates the photo that they used of her. She gives us another little history lesson on RPM, how Venjix took over her world, and her Ranger operators laid everything on the line to narrowly defeat him. But hey, she says, he found a way to escape, so now the two of them need to work together to find a way to save this world. Nate says he can't risk making another mistake like the last one. Olivia Tennant owns this scene back to front. She says, okay, Nate, sure, fine. You want to sit here and feel sorry for yourself. You want to doubt your abilities. You want to be down in your feelings because you're responsible for this. I get it. I've been there. So I'm just going to sit right over here and wait for you to realize, like I did, that however sorry you want to feel for yourself, your world needs you. Nate explains that it's not just Venjix anymore. He's combined the virus with MorphX and snake DNA. So now it's hyper-intelligent, which is a trait of snakes, I guess, and more powerful. Dr. K says the method to beating an insurmountable problem begins with simply taking the first step. Nate thinks about it and realizes the cell-shift morpher contains Venjix's, wait for it, source code!
Roll credits.
Nate says they can analyze the source code and look for weaknesses. Dr. K says that sounds like an excellent first step and asks him to tell her about MorphX. Venjix returns to the nameless dimension where Robo Blaze calls him Master Evox. He takes it in stride, I guess, revealing that he has the Grid Battle Force access codes. He gives them to Blaze and tells him to go to a MorphX tower, unlocking it, basically, allowing him to activate all the MorphX towers around the globe and thus access the morphing grid. Blaze leaves, and Scrozzle asks what he can do. Venjix says that Scrozzle is actually crucial to this plan, revealing a second set of the Grid Battle Force access codes. In the lab, some time has passed and Nate and Dr. K have come up with the perfect solution. The one thing that can defeat an upgraded Venjix. Though Nate once again calls him Evox, will you pick a name, please? A one-off MacGuffin arrow! The true savior of our age. The tip of the arrow is apparently a MorphX key, and Dr. K's research into MorphX and snake DNA has yielded an antivirus that will be stored inside. Nate begins to worry about all the things that could possibly go wrong, but Dr. K assures him that it'll work. The Rangers run in, reporting Blaze's attack on the MorphX tower. Nate wants to stay and help Dr. K, but she says that she can handle it herself, and the Rangers say that they need him, so he agrees to go. Ben and Betty walk in and say they can help Dr. K. No, they really can't, but don't worry, Dr. K knows how to deal with bumblers. She runs a school with one, if you might remember. She tells them that they can concoct a special fuel for her. 4 grams of sucralose crystals, added to water heated to precisely 100 degrees, combined with a special plant organic compound found only on her world. Yeah, if you didn't catch it, she's having the two of them make her some tea. The Rangers confront Blaze at the tower and morph, the main three instantly going Beast X mode. By the by, I did notice that this footage is taken from the Go Busters finale, but it fits really, really well. Blaze is still really powerful for reasons that were never properly explained, beating the team around. Devin and Steele get up and keep fighting, but Dr. K calls Nate to say that the arrow is ready. Nate decides that there's no better field test than destroying Robo Blaze, so he fires at him, and sure enough, the arrow makes him a splodey. For all I know, Robo Blaze is a robot that has no real direct association with the virus, but hey, it makes things explode. It worked in that regard. Back at the base, Nate thanks Zoe for supporting him when things got really dark, and it was really nice, if only because someone didn't have to apologize at the end of an episode. They go to see off Dr. K. They ask her if she can stay, which makes a lot of sense because similar to Keeper with Sledge, your enemy is here, but it's explained really well why she has to leave. If Venjix has revived here, Dr. K really needs to get back to Corinth and make sure that he hasn't also revived there.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
She tells the Rangers that they have a beautiful world, which she could definitely tell from all 3 rooms of it that she got to see, and they need to protect it. Before she can leave, Ben and Betty come in with the special fuel that she asked for, and she drinks it. They're upset that they just ended up making tea for her, but she says, hey, tea is fuel. I feel the same way about coffee, so I suppose that's true. She says they did an excellent job and they are welcome in her lab at any time. And they just can't resist getting a compliment, even though she's basically saying that they're welcome to be her butlers. She pulls out the transportal device to leave, and can I just say yet again how absolutely cool it is that this device was ported over from the comic books to the TV show, and now is just this excellent ready-made writing tool to explain any Power Rangers crossover going forward?
Yes! That's awesome!
But then an alarm sounds. The global Morphex network is activating, and they can't shut it down. They get a transmission from Venjix who says that he's in control of it now. But how? Because Scrozzle succeeds where others have failed. Robo Blaze was just a distraction for the Rangers. Scrozzle walked into another Morphex tower and took it right over unopposed. Now the Rangers are in for a bad time as the towers all start interfacing with each other and the skies darken. Now, if you'll excuse me for just a second, I need to go find 5 shades to throw. Episode 19, Source Code. Prose, excellent plot dealing with crushing guilt, a show-stealing return by Olivia Tennant, and even excellent use of Ben and Betty. Cons, the episode can ever so slightly over-focus on dramatic emotion. Evox and Venjix can't seem to decide on a name, and Robo Blaze's final defeat was a big anticlimax. I already said it, so why delay? Source Code easily scores 5 shades out of 5. Let me dust this one off for you, heroes. WOWWITY WOW WOW WOW! What an epically fantastic episode. A little light on the action side, but we got 2 pretty good fight scenes. No Zord fight. They may actually be destroyed for good this time. I don't know. We've had them return in a single episode last time, so I guess we'll see what happens. Amazing emotional writing, and I cannot say it enough. Olivia Tennant returns and controls, dominates, takes over, owns the stage, slipping right back into Dr. K like a pair of comfortable slippers. And now, we reach the end game. As a reminder once again to you heroes, because I have very recently seen some people that are still a little confused about this, the 2 season specials for Beast Morphers this year have already aired. We got Boxed In, the sports special that was supposed to line up with the Olympics, and Making Bad, the villains-themed clip show. We are actually 21 episodes into this season, and for once, the story finale and last episode of the season are the same episode. Heroes, let's take a peek at the finale of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, Evox Unleashed. Shouldn't it be Venjix Unleashed? After one of their own sacrifices themselves to stop Evox, the remaining members of Grid Battle Force must band together and defeat Evox once and for all. Oof. Remind me to have the Kleenex ready. I'm a little sensitive about members of a team sacrificing themselves to stop someone. Anyway, that is going to do it for another Power Rangers Beast Morphers 2.0 episode review. Thank you heroes so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of this episode as well as my review of it down in the comments below. And while you're down there, smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. One more to go, heroes. Until then, may the power protect you. With a pretty good episode focused on mistaken identity and suspicion. But I don't know the rest of the take. which will replace Evox wants... Evox tells Nate about the time... Some people are about to find out right now watching this video. And now I need to put a little pause on the plot and go undo this take again. But if you think, shoot. Oh yeah, I messed that up anyway. Nickelodeon picked the most suspenseful scene. Gosh dang it. Nickelodeon picked the most suspenseful scene, But if you think I got upset over having to do this take over and over again, Power Rangers, Nickelodeon picked the most suspenseful scene, the one that gosh, friggin' dang it. I owe my sister, I have seen the decision to do this, gosh, dang it, I can't talk today. That makes the plot twist feel very Shyamalan. That's not Shyamalan, it's Shyamalanian. Both Evox and Venjix's voices layered over each other, and yep! Devin stabs Evox with his saber. I said Evox. Dr. K says that when you're faced with an insurmountable problem, what you have to... Dr. K says that the method to... they can analyze that and look for weaknesses. Dr. K says that... Blaze leaves, and Scrozzle asks what he can do. Evox says that Nate and Dr. K have come up with the perfect solution. Until next time, heroes, the finale. May the power... yeah.